Do you know what's wrong with the American consumer? We've been manipulated by our government for the last 100+ years. We were told that we could build big houses, get cheap mortgage rates, car payments would be zero finance. Those loans would be 48, 60, 72 months long. Cars that used to be 45,000 base price are now 75 to 100,000, and that's the norm. We were told that we could get houses financed for 3.25%, and that would be here forever. We were told that gasoline at the pump should always be below $2.75 a gallon. Somebody told me I could actually have 2 for 1 when I go to a hamburger shop. Somebody told me I could go to Chick-fil-A without taking out a personal loan. Somebody told me a bucket of chicken was going to be less than $100 for a family-sized bucket of chicken. All that's turned out not to be true. Today, we have a crazy world with the Iranian war in the Straits of Hormuz. We have an absolute jugular vein of global economics that's been discovered by the war over the last 120 days. The consumer has not felt it. It's like having a vibration from an earthquake 500 miles away. We might have heard about it. We might even felt it just slightly, but we're not near the epicenter. We're not near the Strait of Hormuz. We're not near the battleground between Saudi and Kuwait. We're not worried about G7 dumping 400 million barrels in the market. We're not worried about President Trump taking valuable, precious, safety barrels of oil out of the strategic petroleum reserves. We're not worried about the fact that the Cushing, Oklahoma oil storage, one of the largest in the world, is at critically low inventory right now. We're not worried that most oil companies barely even made a blink of an eye when it came to oil prices going up. They didn't drill more. They didn't add more rigs. They simply completed wells already drilled. They just maintained the course. The consumer is the problem. As the saying goes, an ice cream shop has 100 ice cream bars. There's 400 people in line. Everybody thinks the first 100 are going to get all the remaining 100 ice cream bars. The guy in the back of the line says, "No worries, I'll get an ice cream bar." Why does he say that? Because I know that the guy selling ice cream bars is going to sell the first 25 ice cream cones or ice cream bars to break even. He'll sell the next 25 at double the price. When he gets to the number 51st ice cream bar and the next 10 bars, it's going to be triple or quadruple the price. Over half, if 3/4 of the entire line is going to disappear, saying it's too expensive, I can't afford it. The only people remaining that will buy the last 10 or 20 ice cream bars are those who have more money than they need, more access to income and revenue than they probably have to worry about, and they don't care what the price the ice cream bar is because they need it. Oil is going to be the same way. Only countries who can afford expensive energy and continue to maintain their economy and grow are going to be the people who recognize it's not about how much oil is in the market, it's about who can afford it. So every free Western civilization, every free democratic economy, every free economy out there in a free market expects and demands cheap oil. Who said that? If you really look back over the last 20 or 30 years, in my career since 1985, we used to be at $11 a barrel in 1985. We hoped oil would get to $15, $17 a barrel. Then you go through the Black Monday in 1987. You go through the invasion in Iraq. You look at all the Gulf Wars and you say, wait a minute, somehow we creeped up where the base price for oil is not 11 or 17, now it's $25 or $35 a barrel. Then all of a sudden we creeped up over the next series of events, and by 1999, 2001, we're up to $35 or $40 a barrel, and that's considered to be reasonable. Then we had the big fallout in 2008, financial crisis globally, and it just wiped everybody out, but it only did it for 9 months. Oil dropped from $145 a barrel, record high, down to $32, and rebounded very quickly in 9 months back to $75 to $100 a barrel. COVID was another black swan event, knocked oil prices down from $50, $45 a barrel, down to negative 37, and within 18 months, it was back up to over $85 to $90 a barrel. What's the point? The point is, who says $65 or $70 a barrel is a fair price? A free market sets its own price. President Trump hates high energy costs. It destroys his economic plans. It destroys interest rates. It destroys inflation. It destroys the fundamentals of expansive growth that's taking place in this country today. But there's a reality and there's a wish list. And the wish list now is tapered by only 30 months left in the White House. No matter what happens in the midterms, no matter what happens in the last 30 days, the free market is fully prepared to let the free market for commodity prices come to the surface. And I fully believe and I understand that when this is all said and done, the new norm for the bottom price, the basement price for crude oil over the next decade, be closer to $75 to $85 a barrel. Live with it, face it, historically, empirically analyze it. That's where it's going to be. Now, how do you take advantage of that? Well, maybe you buy SpaceX stock, right? Maybe you make a lot of money today to offset the cost of energy going forward. Maybe you figure out what part of your business or life is directly affected by energy. Or what you do is you figure out how to put yourself in position on a long-term decision how you might play energy in your future. See, it's up to you, but I can tell you the reality of what just happened the last 120 days, if that wasn't the most stark reality of a global recognition that crude oil is the number one energy supply source anywhere in the globe. And it's logistically, geopolitically, strategically in some of the worst places in the world to have confidence of disruptive, non-disruptive supply sourcing. The cost, the insurance, the fear, the geopolitical risk, the military risk probably is adding $10 to $20 a barrel to what was the normal cost for a barrel of oil before the Iranian war started. Now, there's going to be another black swan event in 3 to 4 years. There's going to be another battle in 5 to 7 years. There's going to be another disruption to the economy in 5 to 7 years. And all that's going to vacillate. But when it all shakes out of the dryer, that towel's going to be the same towel as it was when it went in. It's going to be the same fundamental issue. Growing massive demand in crude oil and fossil fuels around the globe. Growing industrial, technology, AI-driven data center consumption all over the world as every country tries to outrace the other country. And all that's going to require much higher consumption rates of fossil fuels, oil, and gas. Now, what does that look like in the base form of a price for a barrel of oil in the next 10 years? I liken to say $75 to $85 will be the average base price that everyone can live with by 2035. And the fact of the matter is spikes could be 110 to 125, and that's the new spike price, and the new norm price is north of $75, $85 a barrel. Plan your future carefully. Plan your investments carefully, because the whole world now knows the Achilles heel of the economy, and that's cheap energy.